Greetings Diski fam, welcome to another episode of the Sisonke Diski Chat. My name is Len Moleko and this is a show where we speak to legends of the game in South African football. And today is no different. We've got such gentlemen joining us and we're going to be chopping up a very interesting topic today. So do stay tuned as I introduce the legends to you, and I'm going to get straight to it. Starting very close to me, Mr. Tebogo Moloi, Orlando Pirates legend. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
First time we're having you actually.
Yeah.
Been looking forward to it ever since they said Tebogo is coming through. So I'm very privileged to have you here. And Brian Baloyi, former Kaizer Chiefs goalkeeper, legend as well. We've had you on the show before. You were one of the first few people who actually helped us start the Sisonke Diski Chat. Welcome back.
Thank you very much, and hello to your viewers.
All right, cool. We're going to get to it. So we've seen the start of the 2022-2023 season in the DStv Premiership, and I'm going to start with you, Tebogo. Defensively, and this is particularly looking at Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs, what have been your impressions about the two teams defensively so far? Because a lot is said about how defensively or how defense actually wins you titles.
Yeah, they've actually impressed me, but they still to be tested. I hear a lot of people, they are very much impressed with the previous game against Sundowns, where they did very well. But then you see a different performance the following 3 days later against Skukuni. To me, as a coach, whenever you start with your team, you start with it defensively. And I think the coach started in the right direction. But we tend to forget that the Orlando Pirates has a philosophy. Now the coach has introduced a new style, a new system of the modern football that we call a 3 at the back, which is something that everybody is using globally. But honestly speaking, Sundowns, when Peter was in charge, he said, I'm going to Pirates, I'm going to see what is it that they're doing. Now, that is our template of having 4 defenders at the back. But like I'm saying, that the coach is only starting. Let's give him time. Let's give him a chance to build the team the way he thinks. Now you come to the best team in the country now, Sundowns. People think Sundowns play 3 at the back, but they play 4. That's why Peter had to go and buy Lakay and Tapelo Morena to make them more mobile. Just like when we had Thabo Matlaba, Happy Jet. They were more mobile, and with the central midfielder, whenever the 2 fullbacks go together, the central midfielder fills in. Now the same goes Sundowns. You had a Sugar Mabunda who would sit, let Hlompo, let Tiko, let everybody go. Even the fullbacks go, Tapelo Morena, Lakay, but you'll have Sugar staying there, and then you'd have Nascimento moving a little bit, and then Arendse also.
For you, Brian, as a goalkeeper, obviously a goalkeeper in most instances, you need to marshal your defense. Looking at modern football with obviously the formation that Tebogo was talking about, with it's 3 at the back, but it looks like it's a 5 because you've got 3 central defenders and then the 2 fullbacks, wingbacks that normally are more attacking than they are defense. How easy is it to marshal a defense in modern football versus what we used to have back in the days where you had a standard 4 at the back where you knew that, okay, the fullbacks, even though they will go in attack, you've got a central midfielder who will drop back and almost help cover the 2 central defenders?
Goalkeeping has changed a lot as well, where, my former goalkeeper coach from Germany, till today now, he calls goalkeepers goal players. And you see it in most German goalkeepers with the Testagens and then that playing from the back. But the most important thing, aspect of goalkeeping is communication. So through communication, you're able to marshal the defense, and it makes things easier to defend. So when you have a goalkeeper who's not, vocal or doesn't communicate very well, then you start having problems. When I was looking at Pirates, playing in a semi-final and shutting Sundowns down, and Sundowns not having a shot on target the whole match. I mean, that was something good that that they were able to achieve. But again, then the next game, some of the players that you feel that are senior players that should be leading by example, goalkeeper is the one that lets you down. Whereas when you are building a team, more especially if you have youngsters in a big club like Pirates or Chiefs, or you have a lot of new players, your goalkeeper is very, very important for him to, with communication, and to make everyone settle down as quick as possible, so that you have a good season. You can look at same way that Ofori, let Pirates down earlier on in the season. When Chiefs started the season, it wasn't playing the two young goalkeepers, made very schoolboy schoolboy errors that cost the club even against Sundowns. Then since Itu came back to play, it's done fairly well. The club has been able to shut back down. But the biggest challenge for the club for me is in attack. I think we can, when we get in talking about attack, I'll address that. But even in the defense as well, there's been a lot of chopping and changing. And traditionally, when you look at Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns, the core of the national team always comes from these three clubs. And whichever one, most of the time, that would have the best defense, the defense would come from there. The one that would have the best midfielders, the midfielders of the, and over the years it has changed a lot. Maybe it's because of as well the other two clubs not being consistent. Sundowns on the one hand, playing with a lot of foreigners in the team, then it affects the national team.
The interesting thing that you mentioned, Bratebza, is that the whole thing of playing from the back, and it has become so popular now. Yes, I understand that it's a way of making sure that you keep position going forward. In your era, when you and Brian played, it was almost playing from, okay, cool, it's a goal kick, you boot it out. Do you feel that in some instances there are teams that do that, even though they know they don't have defenders that are actually solid and comfortable on the ball?
Yeah, there are. But again, the most important thing, I think that I always stress with goalkeepers is your communication and talking doesn't stop from, even when you communicate both, when you have the ball, when you're defending. Yeah. When I pass you the ball, I give you information of the options that you have. So it becomes easier. I'll tell you, so-and-so is open, so-and-so on your left, so-and-so in the middle. I'm still here for you. So that's information that, so our boys sometimes they pass, and then sometimes he passes and then he goes and hides. That, okay, because the coach said play from the back. He passes the defender and then he doesn't want it back. Yeah. Sometimes they play it back to him and then he's under pressure. Even doesn't want to put the ball. I think it's about decision making, and it's about as well having how do I say it? Having the balls really to take decisions and stick by them. Yeah. I think some of the things again that I see today is that players are scared of coaches, scared to make decisions, and you find a lot of them hiding behind the coach said I must do this. The coach said I must do this. What are you doing? The coach tells you do this, it's just a guide. Doesn't mean now you must do it to the T that the coach said we must do this. On the field, there things changes, and what the coach told you to do when you're on the field, it's not on. So you have to make your own decisions there. So the boys, a lot of them, you find hiding behind the coach said I must do this.
Just to come on to that also is that, let me take you back to our team, where we had Happy on the right, Tabo on the left. You'd either have Lucky, Siaboma or Roy. All five of them very comfortable on the ball. But if you look at the time when we were defending the treble. We'd play the long ball and then play from the second ball.
If we look at both Chiefs and Pirates, especially this season, they find themselves in a situation whereby they back 4 or 5 or 3, whichever formation they use on the day, but primarily they're defenders. There's a lot of new faces that are there. From a Pirates perspective, Zbisi is new, Koki is new, and they're coming into a setup where you've got Maela and also Nda. From a Chiefs perspective, they also have brought in a lot of new defenders because some of the old guys are gone. Now, in terms of gelling, communication, and having somebody senior like a E2, or when you were senior at Chiefs and you find yourself in a situation of having new guys come in, how easy or how difficult is it to get that communication going? Because like you said, communication is very key when you are a goalkeeper / defense, because you constantly have to be in communication to make sure that when you're building from the back, everybody understands their role in the team.
But with all the new players coming in, there's a lot of other things that get into play that we never consider. Coming from smaller teams, coming now to a big team, not used to playing in big crowds. So all of those things, do play a role in the players being comfortable. So when you look at Chiefs, maybe about 6 or plus boys that are there that grew with Arthur from development. Yes. And those boys are very comfortable playing the ball because Arthur, from when they're like 14, and brought them up playing the ball from the back. But again, it's things that they did when they were younger. They get to the senior team, again, all of these youngsters, again, not used to playing in big crowds. And so now, and again, if one makes a mistake, then they start hiding. But they still, so all of those things that, they have to deal with. But with Chiefs, when I look at them, a lot of the games this season where I think they've been playing well, but the biggest challenge they have is up front.
Yeah.
I said this, a couple of weeks ago. I said, if you look at the history of Chiefs, if you look at when Chiefs were on top, when Chiefs wins leagues, wins cups, you have to have 2 strikers that are 15 to 20 goal striker, and to have that today, it's not an easy thing. But for me, Chiefs should have been going out and looking for that striker, because you will never be competitive without a 15, 20 plus striker.
Caleb is not that kind of striker? Or is it too soon to tell?
It's too soon to tell. Anyone, if you're saying, I'm saying, has he done it before? Where he comes from? Has he scored 15 goals per season, 20 goals in a season? Even in the first division, so you have to have, you can't bring players to the Chiefs or Pirates on hope that maybe he will, this is the time at Pirates or at Chiefs that he will, hit the big time. Yeah. You bring someone that you have, you've seen, he was playing for so-and-so, he scored 20 goals. He was playing in the first division, he scored 20 goals. Then it's someone that you can put the pressure on. Yeah. But bringing someone that has never even scored 10 goals in a season, someone that you think he's got potential. Unfortunately, Chiefs Pirates, more especially for a striker, yes. we don't work on potential. I looked at Chiefs games just before the last game. 4 games, and I looked at it. I said, geez, I started looking at most of the other PSL clubs. Our rate of shots on target is very poor in the PSL today. Most games, I was so surprised. Like Chiefs, the last 5 games, the most was only 1 game where they had 3 shots on target. Most of the games was 2 shots on target, 1 shot on target. And I'm saying, geez, how are you going to score goals if you're not having shots on target? You know, and then I started looking at most of the other clubs, and it's a trend. And it has to be something that it has to be a concern.
Perhaps one can look at it and say, maybe the defenders are that good.
No, we don't have. We you know, everybody says South Africa we lack strikers, and I'm of the opinion we lack creative midfielders. Like Brian is saying that the Chiefs used to be a team that would get lots of shots at goals, but you look at Brian's era, who were the creative midfielders? Before Brian's era, who also? Yeah. And you had Maximo Ponyane. He would miss you 7 chances and scores you a hat-trick out of 10 opportunities. Yeah. But now, of late, is that the striker, you know, like Benny would say to me, say, Coachy, when it comes, I must really bear it, because I never know when is the next chance coming. Now, you look at our own Bafana team. How many times did Philemon miss goals, but when the game ends, we won 1-0. Who scored? Cheaper. Yeah. Why? Because they were more, they were supplying, there was more creative midfielders continuously offering him the opportunities to score. But now, for now, I think our youngsters, you know, like the other day, I had the analysts, they talk of the low block and the wide block, parking the pass. Yeah. You need to have a creative midfielder to break that. Taumoki would win you a game out of nothing. With one style fella, you know, he shakes everybody, makes that pass. Pele is gone, goal.
Looking at the overall picture of the season so far, we've discussed defensively how the teams are looking. We've sort of like dabbled a bit into the midfield, looked at upfront chances created but not really put away, the low return in terms of shot on investment, shot on target rather. Between Chiefs and Pirates, who do you think is going to finish higher?
But I would love to see, I mean, Steve Kompelo was given, you know, enough time, and so I would love to see Arthur being given, you know, a fair chance at you know, leading the club, and I know he's under pressure, and the supporters are. And more especially because of, you know, it's been many years that the club hasn't been winning trophies and all of that. So I think the club has a big role to play in addressing the fans to give Arthur a chance. And it can't be just left onto him that when he's under pressure that they don't address it. They have to find a way of addressing it with the fans so that it's acceptable. But looking at the current form between the two clubs, Pirates look ahead of, you know, Chiefs, and based on that, I would say, you know, Pirates would finish higher come end of the season. But this is going to be a season that is like no other because of the World Cup. There's going to be you know, some breaks in between that are unusual. They're going to be playing on New Year's Eve.
Yes, I was actually going to mention that. Yeah.
So all of that is going to have an impact on different clubs. It's a mental game, and so yeah, and then again on Chiefs' side, I mean, just now, just straight after the semi-final. The week after that is the derby. So both, you know,
and they could both go to the final, and then it's going to be another derby. And then there's Black Label, and then there's another derby.
So yeah, there's prospects of having a lot of derbies this season. It could be good for me. It could be good for the players. But it will be good for whoever wins in those derbies, you know, and the players will get the confidence and get, you know, but he'll tell you, I mean, playing in a derby, it's an experience of a lifetime. And so we'll see how it goes for Chiefs.
But anyway, gentlemen, thank you very much. Brian Baloyi, former Kaizer Chiefs goalkeeper, legend in his own right. Tebogo Moloi, former Orlando Pirates player, legend in his own right, and former assistant coach as well, and interim coach, head coach.
Not a legend, an entertainer. I always call myself an entertainer. Yeah.
By your words, I'll call you an entertainer. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on the Sisonke Diski Chat. You two at home as well, thank you very much for joining us on the latest episode of the Sisonke Diski Chat. And don't forget, if you want to become a part of Halftime Scamto during an Orlando Pirates match, we will be having one on the 22nd of October when Orlando Pirates take on Mamelodi Sundowns for the MTN 8 semi-final return leg. All you need to do to stand a chance to be part of that, just make sure you download the Orlando Pirates official app from the App Store or from the Google Play Store, and then recharge with a 12 rand or more on your Vodacom number. And who knows, you could be joining an Orlando Pirates entertainer or a legend on that episode to make sure you look at how your team plays and analyze it during halftime. But make sure you follow at Vodacom Soccer for more details with regards to that. As for me, Len Moleko, I will see you on the next episode of the Sisonke Diski Chat. Ciao, ciao.